What's up, fight fans? Mainman Mademan here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing. What up to the fam? What up to everyone in Mainman Mademan's boxing form? Hey, look, man. So the thing is this. I'm sitting here observing Israil Madrimov for this upcoming fight between him and Terence Crawford going down August the 3rd, fight fans. And listen, man, I'm looking at this kid, man, and I'm saying to myself, why he is very, very active in that ring. And when I say active, I don't mean in the sense of just like throwing a bunch of punches or being a volume puncher. I mean, just so active in his body movement, so active in it, of constantly moving around, of constantly feinting, his body rhythm, just the way he kind of moving his shoulders side to side and just always just moving or doing something. And I say to myself, man, listen, that mixed with some body work against him, bro, that could be his undoing in the mid to late rounds of a fight. And see, the reason I say that, fight fans, is because there's a term in boxing called wasted energy. You know, if you're doing too much wasted energy, extra moving, unnecessary moving, wasting unnecessary energy, you know, that can come back to haunt you later on in fights. That's when you'll, start to slow down, mix that in with some body work, and it slows down. And see, one of Madrimov's biggest strengths in his game plan is his footwork. His footwork is actually pretty damn good. Like, he uses his legs to get out of trouble. He uses his legs to fire off from different angles and to see different things from different angles. He's always using his legs. He's always using his feet. The thing is, when you take that away from him, I mean, what kind of fighter are we watching? Are we looking at? That wasted energy mixed with body work, man, can pay off in a fight versus this guy, in my opinion. And I just can't take that out of focus. I look at him, he's a good fighter. Don't get it twisted. He's definitely a good fighter. And he moves good. He jabs well. He has a good punch selection. He takes good risks out from the outside, lands some thudding body shots, good fighter for sure. But I see the greenness in him is that, he hasn't had no one to press him to the body back on his own thus far in his such, young career, having only 10 fights. He hasn't really fought a guy that's really been a guy that's going to try to snatch his body back. Now, Korbanov, the dude he fought, Korbanov, he ain't was really kind of going to the body enough. He kind of let off of it a lot and kind of got into a head hunting mode. And that could have been really his undoing. But I don't understand how a lot of fighters wouldn't see clear as day that staying focused on this kid's body can probably show a lot of good effects. So some of y'all been hitting me up and y'all saying that, look, man, do you think that age is going to play a part in this fight? Do you think the fact that Terence Crawford is 37 years of age and this guy, Israil Madrimov, is only 29 years of age? That's the 8-year age difference. So do you think that that's going to be an issue? I mean, you could look at that as a pro and a con. I mean, you never know how these things plays out. Father Time is always undefeated, right? But remember, we got a fighter in Terence Crawford who lives the life, who's always in shape. You don't see him drinking. You don't see him smoking, living a wild lifestyle. You see him always in the gym, always around pretty sharp fighters like Shakur Stevenson and then some, you know what I mean? On top of that, Terence Crawford has a team of coaches, which, 3 different coaches. So I'm sure having 3 different coaches, they are always, on Terence Crawford or making sure that Terence Crawford is definitely staying where he needs to stay, given at the point where he's at in his career. Now, also, when I think of the age difference, yeah, who knows? Somebody can get old overnight in the ring. But I think that the chances are low on Terence Crawford. But however, age can also be seen as an experience thing. And so you got to ask yourself, man, like, given that Terence Crawford has been through multiple divisions and he's fought pretty much every kind of fighter you can imagine, won every prize you can imagine. I mean, does he have the experience edge here? And the answer is absolutely. This is the biggest fight of Israil Madrimov's career. He's never been in a fight of this magnitude. This is the biggest stage he's ever been on. And so, the experience of Terence Crawford, who's performed under the bright lights many, many times, this is just another day at the office. And so you got to ask yourself, would the young Israil Madrimov make a mistake on the top floor that can cost them because of the experience difference, or become uncharacteristic, or the pressure of the bright lights, right? Just never know. So, when you think of that age difference, yeah, it can work against Terence Crawford because, you know, Father Time, but it also can work for him, giving him an experienced edge, fight fans. So I think that's a good thing. And also, if you take a look at this picture right here, this is the two fighters when, I guess, before they start cutting their weight. Madrimov is a big boy, man. He gets pretty big between fights. So, you know, that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Don't get it twisted. I've never seen him kind of tipping the scales or nothing like that. And he's always looking to be in pretty good shape when he's ready to go. So, but I just look at this size difference and I say, this is also could be concerning for Terence Crawford. Be careful. This is a bigger dude. You know what I'm saying? We want to see how he absorbs your punches. You know what I mean? And as you can see from his size between fights, he gets pretty big. And his frame is more thicker than Terence Crawford's. So we're going to see how it all plays out. Couldn't help but to not notice the activity and the movement and the fidginess to a certain degree from Israil Madrimov, or the greenness in Israil Madrimov, however you want to kind of frame it. I mean, it's just kind of oozes green. You dig? And I will see. I mean, like I said, he's a big puncher. If you kind of standing there in front of him and kind of give him a target to kind of hit, you're not moving well and you're not counter punching very well, especially counter punching him to the body, man. I think that just will be something real big against Israil Madrimov, with all of the activity and the rhythm and the movement and the feinting and just all the stuff that he's doing, Joe. Just like almost anxious at points in times to a certain degree. But maybe that's just him as a fighter, and that's just how he fights. I just would like to see what happens if he takes some uppercuts and some left and right hooks from Terence Crawford to the body, who's been known to be a very good body puncher. We all know that. So we're going to see how this all works, man. Or maybe even a stab jab, man, here and there, which also Israil Madrimov throws very well too. And that's something that Crawford will have to be very mindful of, because just as I noticed that body work may be effective against him, he also ditches out a lot of body work. So he's not one to forget the body. All of the fights that I've kind of observed him in, he's still always been very attentive to the body, man. Like, he don't kind of get away. That's always part of his game plan. So something to be advised of, and that's always a really good key to have to your game plan, to be known as someone that likes to hit that body, bro. But I just can't help but observe it. Crawford is not this fidgety. He doesn't do this much activity. I mean, and the way Crawford fights, he sits down on punches a lot. You know what I'm saying? He lures traps. He lures his opponents to him a lot. He doesn't mind a fighter that's going to do a bunch of activity. Shit, Errol Spence Jr. thought he was going to do a bunch of activity until, you know, it became obvious that Errol can be clipped between punches very simple. And that's one of the things that nullifies activity as well. Timing, the timing of punches between punches. That can be something that can really get his attention. So I don't know, bro. I think that these things that Terence Crawford do very well, these are all going to be very key against Israil Madrimov. Body work against him, as well as good timing to hit him between shots. But Israel's not a volume puncher, so the timing is probably not as paramount, say, so much as hitting him to the body. You know, I think another thing that'll be key against him, aside from just body work, is also the fact of putting him on the back foot, where he doesn't feel as comfortable in rhythm as he does when he comes forward. I noticed that as well. Becomes a bit more inaccurate, just kind of decreases a bit, not nearly as well as good. But he does go to the back foot and go laterally. So Crawford's got to understand he's not a straight back or upper. He's fundamentally sound enough to know not to back straight up. He normally backs out and goes laterally, which is shows the signs of an intelligent fighter, man. So we'll see, bro. It's going to be a really good fight. I think at points a chess match. Definitely both fighters is going to have to fill each other out for sure. And I think eventually, though, man, Crawford is going to kind of get his rhythm and notice his activity is just so much, and start to hit him to the body, and eventually start to go after him and put him on the back foot. Things that Crawford do very well. We'll see how it plays out, man. See if my kind of hunches going to play out in this fight. Real spill. Thumbs up on the way out. Didn't hit it on the way in. Share, rock the bells. To the next video, man. Peace out.